Record.
Welcome, everyone. I am so excited to be hosting our first Fabulous Over 40 virtual festival. And we are helping women shine and thrive 40, 50, 60, 70s, and beyond. And today we have a special guest, Tania Gustafson. And Tania loves to help women with their weight, hormones, and nutritional needs. So, welcome, Tania. It's awesome
Thank
to
you.
have you here today.
Thank you for having me, Karen. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're welcome. So Tania, let's delve right in and so that everyone can get to know you a little bit more. Why did you become a nutritionalist, Tania?
Nutritionist, the $1 million question, right? So, I honestly got certified and licensed many years ago, coming up 14 years now, because I wanted people to take me seriously when I told them about food and things that I was discovering. They always called me the health nut wherever I worked, even as an older teenager, young 20s, something, everyone called me the health nut. And so, so I did that. When I figured all this out, I got licensed and certified so that they would take me seriously. But the backstory of why I started diving into food so much was my youngest daughter. She had a blocked colon when she was about 2, just under 2. And pediatricians really weren't much help. Doctors, whatever, they gave her adult doses of medication to help her. And then they said, well, don't stay on this too long, and this one's okay. And then make sure she has lots of water. And then adjust things as you need and then come back in 6 months. And they did that like every
Right.
6 months. That's literally what they did and then after a while, they just stopped seeing us. But it literally took 10 years to get everything sorted properly. And
Wow.
I mean, we didn't have a computer in the home, so it was a lot of, this is what I'm seeing, it was a lot of, okay, cause and effect, and so seeing what foods would affect her and what foods were good for her and all those kinds of things. And so we made some, lots of changes, and I come from a place where we did everything homemade, and not to say that we didn't have some junk food once in a while, right? But I did all the stuff homemade and grew up on a farm, and my dad hunted, and we had a garden, and we raised our own beef. And then I even saw that my dad had high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and high blood sugar. As someone who, did a manual physical labor job and only weighed 136 pounds his entire life. And so clearly we weren't doing some things right, but he fixed
Mhm.
it with food, and he was seeing a naturopath when I was 16 years old. So that was always in the back of my mind. So I knew things could be, we just had to get the right balance, right? The
Yeah.
right sort of lineup of stuff. And then for myself, I had arthritis from the time I was about 20 is when it kicked in. As a teenager, I'd had some injuries and in my legs. And so I was a weather vane for 20 years. I could tell you if it was going to rain or snow. I was so accurate. Terrible. Like,
Yeah.
it was very painful. And so learning about all the things I teach women now and bringing down inflammation and balancing blood sugars and filling in nutritional gaps and getting the right supplements and antioxidants, all those kinds of things, I got rid of that. I no longer have, for 17 years, I have not had that. I'm 57 now. I am
Wonderful.
way
Yeah.
healthier in my 50s than I was in my 20s. And I've been in the health and fitness industry since 1986. So it took me 22 years to get the health piece. They teach you a lot about fitness, but it took 22 years to get the health piece. So, all that to say, I want women to know that no matter where they are with their health, their hormones, their weight, their mental wellness, their gut health, that's super important too. And whether it's in menopause or perimenopause or either side, you can take back control of those things, your health, your hormones, your weight, your mental wellness, all the things. And you can love your body and you can live with food freedom at any age. So that's why I started my company, Fit Nutrition, 13 years ago, and to help as many women as possible do that.
Love that. And I have to say, you look amazing.
Thank you. Thank
So,
you.
Tania, how is your approach different from dieting?
Okay. So we are not a diet. So diets lie. They make false promises that they can't keep. They'll tell you, oh, you're going to lose X amount of weight in a certain amount of time. And maybe you do, but you're not able to sustain that. I mean, the statistics say that less than 1% of people can maintain a diet, like less than 1%. You know, that's very minute. That's like the extraordinary elite athlete type person, you know, who's on a regimen. But the average person, the average woman tries a new diet every 90 days. So people are looking for
Right.
something, like they're just after that next thing, right? But weight is a symptom of health and hormones. And so when we focus on the things that cause the disruption in health and the disruption in hormonal balance, then we can bring that all back in together. And when you focus on the health components, then the weight takes care of itself. And when you get to your optimal health, you get to your optimal weight.
Love it. Love it. And why are you so passionate about what you do? I mean, you shared a little bit about that already, but
Yeah, with my family and just I've seen that the way when people make changes, how they can just thrive, you know, and when they don't, unfortunately, I have some relatives that are no longer with us, right? But I just want women to know that they're not just doomed to accept the lies, the diet lies, the menopause symptom lies, all you know, they tell you just have to live with this. It's just, you know, it's part of getting older. It's what happens when you hit this age. It's your mother had it, your grandmother had it. So it's okay. It's just, you got to deal with it. So suck it up. No, you don't
yeah,
have to. You know, like your DNA contributes to only like 10% of the outcome of your health, the way your DNA expresses. So like when people say, well, diabetes runs in my family, or cholesterol runs in my family, or high blood pressure runs in my family. Well, not really. It's just nobody in your family runs. You know, it's those, not to say they have to use exercise as punishment. That's not what I'm saying, but we inherit the habits of our families because we lived with them for a long time, right? So we inherit those habits. And it's hard to break those habits. And sometimes we don't even realize that we're doing those detrimental behaviors. And so just bringing awareness to that and creating healthier habits. And then I have a background also in education and behavior specialty. So I recruit that piece in to work on the mindset because I can teach you how to eat till the cows come home, right? But if you
yeah,
don't believe that you're worthy, if you don't, you know, believe that you need to show up for yourself, because especially as women, right? We put ourselves at the back of the line, right? Everybody goes ahead of us, even the dog, the
yeah.
neighbor, whoever. Some people you don't even know,
So true.
right? And then
Yeah.
we're at the back going, okay, maybe I can get 2 minutes for a shower,
Hey,
you know. And so but in order to serve and nurture all of those people that we want to do as women, that we're kind of naturally called to do, we have to be our best selves, right? We have to show up for ourselves. Like this is like your, you know, your body is like your vehicle that drives you through life. Vehicle in the driveway drives you around town. Pretend that vehicle in the driveway that it was the only one you're ever going to have ever. You don't get any lease
wow.
agreement.
Yeah.
There's no trade-ins. There's no new parts. There's no nothing. Like that's it. How well would you take care of that? Right. And so this is our one and only vehicle. And we have to sort of get out of our head about thinking, well, it's selfish for me to do this, you know, take care of me. Self-care is not selfish. Self-care is necessary so that you can bring your best to all the rest of the people. Because if that's where your heart is going, you can't pour from an empty cup. So that's where I'm.
That's an incredible, yeah. That analogy is so incredible. Thank you.
You're
Like
welcome.
we are it, right? And
Yeah,
so what do we do to to sustain our life and to thrive and, well into our senior years? Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. For sure.
Yes. What are some common misconceptions out there, Tanya, that you hear a lot?
There's a lot for sure. People have these beliefs that the world and society has been telling us for years that, the first one that comes to mind is you have to give up, put fill in the blank to get a result.
Yeah,
Right? Like you just said,
right.
it's all about deprivation. It's all about, well, you have to hold on by your fingernails and it's all about willpower and how come you can't do that? And diets kind of beat you and shame you into thinking that, well, she can do it, but I can't do it. How come I'm not doing it? And then it's that whole cascade of negative thinking that comes in. But your body doesn't need less. It doesn't need for you to keep taking from it. You need to find out what
Mhm.
it needs and give to
Right.
to put all the pieces together, right?
Yeah.
And to bring it back into balance so that you can thrive. and just
Mhm.
restore that health. And you can do that at
Yeah,
any age, right? It's not an age thing. It's the length of time you've been doing something or not doing something that serves your body that you get a
right.
result. So whether, you've been doing something that doesn't work from 15 to 30 and now you're noticing at 30, or whether it kind of started at 45 and now you're noticing at 60, that 15 years is still 15 years, right? But it's not about the number that you're at now. It's how long you've been doing something to get there. So wherever you are, you can walk that back. You can make changes and improvements, and you can feel them significantly at any age. It's really quite remarkable. You give the body what it needs, it's really good at restoring health for sure.
And it responds, right? So,
And it responds.
and
It
again,
so much
I love,
does.
yeah, I love your message that we can feel empowered.
Yeah.
And I think that's so true. Like we think, oh, well, I'm in my 60s now and I did this and I didn't do that right. Like, why should I bother trying? Like, I think some people really do feel defeated sometimes. So your message is very, very powerful.
Well, thank
Yeah,
you. Yeah, and that's what I want to bring home is that 90% that you have control of, that has nothing to do with your age. It has to do with, your belief and your actions. Your thoughts and your beliefs determine your actions determine your results. So when you get that
yeah,
right up here, what you're believing, they will come out in your actions and you will get the result that you've been depriving yourself to try and get for so many years, right? Um,
right, right.
that the other one is that you need to cut carbs. That carbs make you gain weight. Well, if all you're ever eating is a processed carbohydrate, it's not going to be your friend, you know?
Hmm.
But fruits and vegetables are also your carbs. So for those people that say, well, you need to pull out all the carbs, well, where are you also getting your vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients from then? You must be
Right.
supplementing
Yeah,
like crazy because that's where we get them from. So, those are all your nutrient those are all, it's part of your macros, your proteins, your fats, and your carbohydrates. Those are your macronutrients. You need those.
yeah.
Those are the big things that you need. Macro means big.
Hmm.
And then fat, people have this conception. I was one of them. The 90s was super bad for
Me
telling
too.
yeah, right. We all did, I think. We all went no fat or low fat or fat free, and we looked for those labels and not realizing that, hey, we're looking at labels, which means we're eating processed stuff, which means that, well, if fat and sugar are the things that give us flavor,
Yeah,
if they take out the fat, what are they increasing? Right? And it's just going to spike your blood sugar and make your body store fat. So you're actually, just counteracting what you thought you were doing. We need fat to burn fat. We need a healthy fat in there. We need to get rid of the seed oils and we need to, ditch the not real food fats, nasty things that come in, yeah, the manufactured things that aren't real food. We need to get rid of those. But we do need fat. So don't demonize fat. Carbs are not your enemy. Your fat is your friend. And the last one is when I talk to women and I ask them, so what have you done so far? Why are you here and what have you done? Right. So they're, okay, what are you doing so far to
yeah,
get results? And they give me the laundry list of things. And then they say, well, I've done this and this and this and this, and I've done all the things, but
yeah,
this one worked. Okay. So what do you mean it worked? Well, I lost 20 pounds. Okay. And so were you able to maintain that? Well, no, I had to go do it again a couple times and then it stopped working. Probably because I got older. No, it wasn't because you got older. It's because that way that you were trying to lose weight did not serve your body. It was not the way your body was designed to function. It was trying to impose and force your body into a way of doing something that it wasn't meant to do. And so,
right. Yeah,
you can, again, hang on by your fingernails. And a lot of people do that. They'll start a diet and they have the start date and then they have an end date, right? I'm going to do this for 3 months, or I'm going to do this for 4 weeks or whatever it is. They have an end date.
yeah,
But health, we shouldn't have an end date to our health. Like, right? It should be a journey. We're starting. So that's what I teach my women. It's a journey. It's not a start and a stop. It's a beginning
yeah.
and a journey, an extension, because we're always learning. And, learning, adjusting, growing, recalibrating, taking that education of okay, maybe that didn't work so well. Okay, take that as data. There's no guilt, just data. Let's figure that out.
Hmm.
And where do we go from here?
Absolutely. Yep. Everything's a journey.
Everything's a
For
journey.
sure.
That's right. Enjoy the journey.
Everything's a journey. Enjoy the journey. So could you briefly share what you will be speaking about? Because you're going to be on for two more talk times and you have some special topics that you're going to be covering and going deep into those topics.
I do things that I could talk about forever. It seems like, but I am talking tomorrow on at 3 o'clock PST time on carbs are not the enemy and fat is your friend. That's my title. So I'm going to be talking about
Awesome.
why that is and why we need them and what you can do about all of those things that you've been lied to about. And then on Thursday is finding your body's love language. So Thursday at 2 p.m. PST time, and it's using food to create hormonal balance and stabilizing blood sugar so that you can reduce inflammation, heal your gut, and then so you can thrive through menopause. Not enough of this, I'm surviving. No. We're thriving. Let's go
Right.
there, right? So that's
Love
what
it.
it's about.
Yay.
And
Yay
then I've
for
got a couple
thriving.
free, yay! I've got a couple free gifts. So tomorrow, because we're talking about food, I have a recipe box subscription. So I've got a mini collection that I'm going to be giving away for those who comment, who watch live and comment. And then also on Thursday, I've got an inflammatory food guide, and then a happy hormones checklist that I'm putting together to help women in menopause to make there's some little things you can do that will really make a big difference. So.
Amazing. Amazing. Love it so much. Um, and Tanya, how can clients get a hold of you?
All right. Well, I'm all over social media, so you can find me on Instagram or Facebook, Tania Gustafson, Tania with an IA. And also at my website, I have a free video there talking about the blood sugar stabilization, the hormonal balance. If you're interested in that, it's a free video. So you can go to fuelignitethrive.com,
Okay.
fuelignitethrive.com, and just
Yep.
enter your email there and you can watch that video for free. And yeah, and then you can shoot me a message there if you want as well. You can opt in there. So lots of ways to find me.
Amazing, amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Tanya, and sharing your wealth of knowledge and all your years of experience and everything combined in there. I'm just really looking forward to your talks in the next couple of days as well. So
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me, Karen. I really appreciated it. And I love seeing so many women here in this group with their different modalities and all the expertise, just, sharing the love and bringing the things that have been working for them and sharing. And it's a great space. So thank you for that.
awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.